not going to... Hold on.
My beard is a mess.
Just hideous.
So slovenly.
Just, ugh.
You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Can you make your finger look... Can you do that with your... Can you make your finger look all weird?
You mean like Russ's finger looked?
Yeah.
I nearly vomited.
Nobody wants to see that.
I nearly vomited at the sight of that. And then the way he was...
And then it was like...
The Russell Wilson stone face, and he's like, hey, everybody, look, guys, look what's going on with my finger. And it's like just
Is it supposed to do this?
around.
Is it? I don't think
And he has
this...
no expression.
No, zero.
Does he feel pain?
I don't know. Although, I've heard it from a reliable source that doesn't even really hurt.
I
Wait.
call BS on that.
Oh, wait. I know. That was my dad.
Is it another person who doesn't feel pain?
Yeah, exactly. It's just somebody who found out that they had an ACL tear in their knee 40 years later. No big deal.
Yeah. Well,
I think he did. I think he will admit that the knee hurt at the time, though.
Yeah, I think you're right with that one.
my knee hurts every day.
Oh, we got lots
might have
to
an
get
ACL
to.
tear.
We got that with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks in general. We got a lot of good high school stuff to get to, including a record-breaking performance. But first, let's get it going with a 2-minute drill.
Let's go. Huddle up. Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation. 44 seconds. Hand the ball to the ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye on 1.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
By the way, that's Justin Domashevitz. I'm Daniel Hargrove, and that's
yeah.
our producer, Andrew Gross.
Forgot about that.
Whew. Sorry, when Justin doesn't do it, the whole thing
I'm
just
just
goes...
sulking.
Yeah, sorry. Justin, the Philadelphia 76ers reportedly asked the Portland Trailblazers for 3 first-round draft picks, don't know what that is, as part of a trade package for point guard Ben Simmons. Would you have made that trade?
Well, a pick swap option means that they can look at the picks and they can decide if they want to swap with the Blazers.
Because the Blazers would probably be good.
Yeah, and there's limits on how many first-round picks you can trade, so the pick swap is a way to get around that rule by saying, well, we'll take your pick, you take ours, kind of. But the best thing the Blazers could do right now is go to Damian Lillard and say, Dame, what would you like us to do? Because whatever the answer is to that, that's what I would do.
I think Dame wants them to get LeBron.
Daniel, the LA Dodgers had 106 wins this year and still had to play in a wild card game. They won that game and are rewarded by playing the 107-win Giants. Should MLB change the rules about playoff matchups?
Part of me thinks, absolutely, this is an atrocity. How does the second best team in baseball that would have won literally every other division in baseball, American League or National League, be forced to play in a one-game playoff? But you know what? No.
Dems to breaks.
Dems to breaks. Win your division. I'm sorry that you lost your division. That's why this was put in place, was for that reason and that reason only, making winning your division that much more important. So I'm fine with it. Take that, Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. The NFL Players Association Board of Representatives voted to retain Executive Director DeMaurice Smith for another term in a close vote Friday evening. Justin, why?
I don't know. Russell Wilson had finger surgery yesterday to fix an exterior tendon rupture and a comminuted fracture dislocation. Andrew, why'd you put all these words in here? Of the proximal infraphalangeal joint. Reports are currently that Wilson... It's supposed to be currently are. You did that wrong. Reports currently are that Wilson is likely to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Russell will end his streak of 149... This question is a mess. End his streak of 149...
Will Russell Wilson end his streak of 149 consecutive regular season starts? Or will we see a miracle on turf?
Punctuation's terrible.
Wow, I thought you wrote long questions. We will see the end to Russell Wilson's game-started streak. I liked your other question better. Is this the last time... Oh. That's what happens when the 2-minute drill turns into a 10-minute drill.
Andrew, I'm sorry. I got in the middle of that, and I was fumbling around, and I lashed out at you. It wasn't your fault.
It's okay.
It was my fault.
It would have been worse or more embarrassing to me if you would have finally lashed out at something that was wrong, but you just missed the Russell Wilson, and you missed the will at the beginning of that's there. So,
Wait, but there should be a period where you got a comma, and then
My Google Doc hasn't even. All it says is Russell Wilson had surgery yesterday on a burst. A burst what? That sounds
Tendon.
disgusting. Is it a? I've seen thumbnails of.
nope.
I don't want to see any of those bursts.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I think I'd like to keep it that way.
Yes, you would.
So, Daniel, about the playoffs thing,
Yeah.
with baseball. So there used to be a rule, like just a few years ago, I think, that you couldn't face somebody from your own division in the first round.
Oh, okay.
So if then they got rid of that rule. So had this happened, the Dodgers still would have had to play the wild card, but had this particular thing happened like 5 years ago, they would not be matching up in the first round because you couldn't play the team so they would end up playing a different team, and then they would have a chance to meet in the NLCS.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay with that. But I don't know. It kind of takes away from it still. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's not. It doesn't happen very often that you have. So it's not like this predominant problem that's going to happen a lot.
Yeah. Dems to breaks.
But yeah, that happens.
I think also because
I mean, the Mariners would have won a division, I believe, or they would have been a wild card team. I can't remember. The Mariners would have been close to winning a division in the National League, but they don't play in that division. So tough.
And in basketball, they've gotten. I mean, they still have divisions, but they don't mean anything because they just go Eastern Conference, Western Conference, 1 through 8.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of people that want to completely abolish that and just have all teams seeded 1 through 16 based on record and forget conferences altogether. I like the idea that winning a division means something. So I don't want to see that go away. And if baseball does this thing where they just say, nope, we're going to go 1 through 5 based on record, all of a sudden winning your division means nothing anymore.
Exactly.
And like you said, it's not an issue that comes up that often, but also because baseball is so regional and specific, like I followed the Mariners pretty closely this year. I followed the AL West a little bit, and I followed the rest of baseball zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I feel like once it feels overwhelming when it's like, okay, now I have to pay attention to everything and everybody.
Exactly.
And it would make me pay less attention to baseball in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. I think that's kind of part of the reason why I only follow Portland Trailblazers. And then I couldn't name half of the, starting point guards in the league. Like I have no idea. So
Do you want to play that game? See how many starting point guards in the NBA we can name?
No.
Okay. Well,
especially because how do you define a point guard these days?
That's so true. So I have this conversation with Peyton.
That would be what it would devolve into an argument over who were point guards.
not a point guard.
I have this conversation with Peyton all the time because he's my 15-year-old son, and because he loves top 5 lists, and he's on like TikTok and power rankings, and he'd be like, who do you think's the top 5 receivers? And then we'll do this thing where he'll say, who's the top 5 point guards in the league? And I'm like, everybody's a point guard. James Harden's a point guard. LeBron James is a point guard.
Jokic is a point guard.
I mean, you could make the argument.
Right.
So yeah, it's a positionless NBA. And also I've heard, I don't want to go too long on basketball, but like positions in the NBA has always been positionless. Positions in the NBA were created as a way for fans to understand. Like basketball players, I think this was something that Jalen Rose talked about, how as far back as he could remember, it was 1 through 5. There was no power forward, small forward, center, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You had these are the guys on the floor, and you guard who you guard based on 1 through 5. But as far as players, they don't really care or define what happens on the floor by positions. That was a thing that was created for fans.
So it's not like the NFL where the positions have different pay structures.
It is kind of because
Is it?
It is because
Okay.
the max contracts are tied to All NBA. If you make the All NBA team or not. And those are still separated by 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
Interesting.
And you can qualify for the Supermax if you make an All-NBA team. So like a guy like Rudy Gobert, who is definitely not one of the top 10 players in the NBA, but at least at one point would have been considered the second best center, could make an All-NBA team and qualify for that contract, even though it's because there's so many other guys that are better than him, but they wouldn't qualify by position. So
Weird.
it gets a little foggy in there.
Ugh, I don't like that. I feel like it's weird because doesn't the All-NBA... Who votes on the All-NBA team?
It's voted by the media.
So the media
determines how much people can make, how much
Wow.
money people can make.
That's
Yeah.
really weird.
That's the worst.
It's so bad. It's really bad.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what the Players Association and the NBA agreed upon.
Well,
Just
I guess
put it in
if
the
you're...
hands of the people who are probably, of all the groups, least qualified
Yeah.
to tell you.
Well, I mean, who's in charge of the NBA Players Association? LeBron probably has a big voice in there. He's like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to be on there.
CJ, I think, so Kyrie Irving has a high-ranking position. CJ McCollum's like the vice president. Chris Paul was the president. I don't know if he still is. But, I mean, it's mostly run by highly influential players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't like that at all. Anyway, it's time to get to Justin's favorite part of the show.
Okay, for Stump Daniel, we're going to do something totally different. Do you guys have your phones?
Yeah,
Both
I
have
do
your
have,
phones?
I do have my
Yes.
phone.
Okay, we are going to have a texting contest.
What? Okay.
I'm going to explain the rules.
Okay, can I open my texting app
You can
now?
open your texting app,
Okay.
and I haven't even told you the rules yet, so you're not gaining any kind of advantage. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to pick a person that we all have in our contacts.
Okay.
We are going to type out, it's not a speed contest, we're going to type it out together.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to text them, and we're going to hit send at the exact same time.
Okay.
And we're going to see who gets the first response from that person. And if you get the first response from that person, then you get a point.
So it's a little bit of a popularity
It's
contest.
100% is a
We're
popularity.
doing this right now.
Yeah. Yes. This is Stump Daniel today.
This
okay?
is what happens when we can go live.
Yeah.
Get weird stuff happening like this.
Okay.
We should
Now-
never have told Justin that it was live.
You get your phones ready.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's not a speed
You
contest.
still haven't
not a
told us.
speed contest,
You still
but-
haven't told us who we're sending this to.
I know. We're going to send the first. Everybody has Francis's number. Okay.
Okay.
First text goes to Francis.
Wait, what do you mean first text? How many times are we going to do this?
We're going to do this 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
We better hope that somebody has their phone. What if Francis is out there frothing and just turns his phone on silent?
Here's what we're typing in.
Okay.
Sorry
Sorry.
about your Yankees. Period.
Oh.
Okay, is it locked and loaded?
Sorry about your Yankees.
Okay, you ready? Don't send it yet. On the count of 3, we're going to hit send all together. Andrew, are you ready?
I am ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's first. The first one is on its way. As soon as you get a response from Francis, you let us know what he says. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the second one. Everybody has Sean's number.
Yes.
We had a group chat with Sean, so everybody get ready to send a text message to Sean.
Wait, but we're not in the group chat, I'm assuming.
No. It's
Okay.
got to be individual text
Okay.
to Sean.
Okay, individual text to Sean.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Andrew, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Down with the Dodgers.
Okay.
Okay. Sean has revealed to us that his NL rooting interest is the Los Angeles
Yes.
Dodgers, and I will be rooting against them in the playoffs. Is it locked and loaded? Everybody ready to go?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I already sent it.
What?
You
I'm
did
cheating.
Not. You did not. Okay, send. Go. You send it.
Cheating cheater
Andrew.
cheats.
Okay. Now, and nobody's gotten a response from Francis yet, right?
Nope, not yet.
I have a response from Francis. He
What?
says that he was listening to a local sports broadcast and a reference was made to the number of tools the coach had in his woodshed, and he wants to know if this is an error, as a woodshed by its name implies that it has wood inside.
So he sent a message to the chat on our live thing,
Yes, he did.
but he didn't respond to our texts.
No, he
Why
may
not?
not love us.
I've
Do
got
you
a
think
similar...
is he going to be punishing us right now? See, really, if he could punish 2 of us very severely because he could text. Now that we know that he knows what's going on, he could text one of us and make the other two of us just feel like total crap.
Yep. He
Okay.
knows that we know that he knows that we know.
Oh,
Okay.
You
no.
know that?
Next one, you ready?
Yeah.
Nobody's got a response yet?
Nope.
We might not be lovable.
No.
Okay.
That's what-
J.R. Higgins says,
Oh.
your sincerity is greater than your spelling, Andrew. You win.
Oh, dang it.
How did you spell it?
I spelled about wrong.
You should be
Full
disqualified.
disclosure, I didn't start typing it until Justin said send the first time. So
You
that's
should
why I
be
sent the other one
disqualified.
early.
Hey, he just texted me. I'm watching Frolfing played earlier.
I just got a text from Francis that says, "Who is this?" Well played, sir.
New phone, who did?
I got new phone who dissed by Francis.
Oh, anybody got something back from Sean yet?
No.
Okay.
Okay, here comes the next one. This one?
Who's this
send,
to?
Send it to your wife. Everyone send it to their... Oh, I got one from Sean.
I also got one from Sean.
Oh, he sent it to the
I'm
group.
I'm not emotionally attached.
He
Good
sent
try,
it to the
though.
group. He took all of our individual texts and he went into the group and sent it to us
Well
simultaneously.
played, sir.
Okay, so Andrew
Wait.
has two. Daniel, you and I have one. I'm counting that one from Sean as all of us.
Wait,
Ooh,
so
here, hold on.
you're saying
Everyone send a text to their own wife.
their own wife. So, okay. What are we sending?
What was that?
That was me having points.
Okay, Andrew's up 2-1 to 1. Okay, here's
Okay.
what we're saying to our wives, okay?
Dang it, I'm not going to do well on this one. My wife's-
Hey,
Hey,
comma,
comma,
boo.
boo. What?
Hey, boo. What?
Wait, wouldn't the boo comma come after the boo?
No, because hey, boo is its own sentence. You separate the noun of direct address from the rest of the sentence with a
Okay,
comma.
so hey boo period.
Hey, boo, period.
Okay.
What's,
What's
and then I'll spell this word for you. CRACKALACKIN apostrophe question mark. It should read, hey, boo, what's crack-a-lackin'?
got it?
Okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, send. Okay. Now, did we get another one from Sean?
Sean
Yeah,
says,
Sean.
"Who knew the Giants were going to be this good?
Okay,
Nobody."
Okay. Sean decided not to play favorites here. All right. I got it. Okay. Well, all right. So now here's the next one. Everybody send a text to your mom.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh
All right.
no.
Ready?
Okay.
Hi!
Hi.
Exclamation point. I love you. Heart emoji.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, send.
All right.
Okay. So right now we just wait because I
I have a response from my wife. She
Oh.
says, "She says you.
You.
I am crack-a-lackin'."
Oh man, Andrew is killing
Yes.
us. Dang it. Okay, so even if one of us gets a response back from mom before Andrew gets a response back
wins.
from mom, he wins.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess Andrew wins the texting contest, but still keep an eye out on your phones, and if a good one comes back from
Yeah.
anyone, we'll read it and we'll make it part of the comic relief of our show.
My wife always keeps her phone on silent. Oh, I got a smiley face from my mom. Smiley face.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm the big loser.
Yes. She responded with just a smiley face.
Dang
well done,
it.
Mom.
Woo! Do you okay? Well, no, that's just another one from Sean. Dang it! I set this up. I feel like I thought I was going to have a pretty good advantage here because I picked people in my life that usually respond to my texts pretty quickly. I didn't count on Francis being vindictive and hating me. Although I did.
You should have seen
You
that coming.
probably should have.
I did earn that this week. I treated him very poorly after his Yankees were eliminated. He was looking a little down in the dumps,
And
and I walked up to him, and I just stared at him and smiled. This was the day after the Yankees got eliminated, and he looked at me and he's like, "What? What are you gonna say? Yankees suck?" And I said, "No. F the Yankees." I feel a little bad about it. I think
Yeah.
I might have had a negative impact on his mental health that day.
I could see that. But seeing his impact on my mental health over the last month of the Mariners season, I'll allow it.
Well, that's a good segue into Mariners talk. Do we have some Mariners talk?
Just the fact. I mean, I made
Some
a
Mariners
spreadsheet.
obsessions.
I made a spreadsheet.
Please read us line by line what your spreadsheet says.
That would take way too
Spare
long.
no
So wait,
detail.
though, what are we obsessing about?
We are obsessing. If that was Kyle Seager's last game with the Seattle Mariners,
Knock on wood.
It's going to be.
it's gonna be.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently, he hates Jerry DiPoto. Like, just throwing that out there. He don't like him.
I
does
believe
seem-
the feeling is probably mutual, although Jerry DiPoto may not have a heart. So he might not be capable of that kind of feeling towards a person.
He's just all about the numbers.
Yeah. Just business, not personal.
Yep.
Just playing fantasy baseball.
So everybody's like, oh, well, they got to go get another third baseman, right? Because they don't really have somebody in-house who should be starting at third base. The options would be Toro and France. Well, neither of them are very good at defense, and Ty France is probably going to win a Gold Glove at first base for his defense there. So why would you want to switch him?
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, didn't see that coming either. But so that's kind of the thought process is everybody's like, oh, they'll just go get somebody. But who is that somebody going to be? So
A baseball player.
hopefully,
Free agent, probably.
yes.
Okay.
I guess they could go into the trades, but you probably would not want to trade somebody at this moment for a third baseman. So I made a spreadsheet of all infielders, not just first baseman, or people who, if you're just a first baseman, you're not on this list.
Yeah, you're a
Who are-
DH if
who
you're
are-
just a first baseman.
Yeah, who are free agents. And I put them into a spreadsheet, and I have their age, how many home runs they just hit, how many RBIs they just had, what their batting average was, their on-base percentage, and their on-base plus slugging. So, most of these guys are older.
How long did it take you to do this?
A while. It took me about 2 hours, I think. But I also learned how to make spreadsheets while doing that.
You didn't know how to make spreadsheets?
I knew in theory, but I did not
been a long time
actually
since.
do it. And I had never done it on Google Sheets
I've made
before.
so many spreadsheets.
So, if you want to look at the league leader or the leader in home runs, that would be Marcus Semien. We've talked about him a little bit before, but he is 31 years old. He had 102 RBIs. RSBI. He hit 265, and he had an OPS of 373. So he's about to get paid. Like, he's going to get a ton of money. So do the Mariners want to go massive contract on a guy who's 31 years old and just had his high water mark?
That doesn't sound DePoto-like.
How
it doesn't.
old is the point where we assume that baseball players are they're on the downward slope? Of their
I
career?
would say 35.
Okay, so he's
think
he's not there yet.
For most
but-
guys, that's pretty generous.
Is
really.
that generous? Okay.
I mean, well, think about the Pujols contract. Didn't he start going down the tubes? I didn't say Pujols.
No.
I said Pujols.
But it's funny because that's
Didn't
his
he
name.
start tailing off hard at like age 33?
Was it that quick?
I feel like it was, but I could be wrong.
But see, the thing with the Pujols contract and the Robinson Cano contract is they were both like 10-year contracts.
That's true. Also, the one of the worst kept secrets around the league is that no executives believe that Pujols ever told his real age.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Francis says that no, Justin didn't feel bad and doesn't feel bad. And he also wants you guys to know that Mariners are a good argument for regulation in Major League Baseball.
Relegation?
Oh,
Yeah, thank you, relegation, not regulation. He spelled it correctly.
yeah.
I mean, he's
I mean,
not wrong.
No,
He's
he's
not
not
wrong.
He's 100% right. I did
Yes.
not feel bad at all.
Yes. I mean,
I am on the record as thinking that relegation is a great innovation in sports leagues, and he's not wrong at all.
that relegation is what soccer does best. That's maybe the only good thing about soccer.
But where does the major league team get relegated
if
to?
relegation,
AAA.
yeah, if
such a huge difference, though.
I
if
know.
relegation existed,
Well, they'd be back
the
up in a
Mariners
hurry, right?
would. That's
Yeah.
the thing. If relegation existed, the Mariners would not have been able to stay a major franchise while being horrible for 20 years. They would have got relegated. And so they would be forced to be better.
They weren't horrible for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
That's a good point.
And
That's
did
a
they
good
ever
point.
actually have the worst record in the league? I don't know that they did.
No, they never had the number 1 pick.
So
Yeah.
So they never would have been relegated.
So
Or
they never
regulated,
would've.
as Andrew would say.
Yeah. as Andrew-
Anyway, so the next
Mount
guy,
up.
do you want to go down the home run list? Wait, what did Andrew say?
Mount up. He's going Warren G on us. I liked it. That was one of my favorite songs. Sorry.
Have
Daniel.
you gotten a text from your wife yet? No. Neither have I.
I haven't got a text from my mom either. Nobody loves me.
Oh gosh. Jose,
I had not considered the serious potential embarrassment
No.
that could come with this game.
So I gotta say, the best options that I see are actually shortstops. So if you could convince, so I'm gonna skip all of the other things here because, I got leaders in RBIs. That was Nolan Arenado. He had 105. Our leader in batting average
RSBI.
was Yuli Gurriel. Corey Seager had the best on base percentage.
That would
and
be
Corey
brutal.
Seager. Yes, that'd be hilarious. But isn't that crazy? Kyle and Corey Seager are both free agents. Are they a package deal?
That would be.
Do you think they're
so
both going to go
cool.
to the same
As-
place?
As a brother,
That'd be dope.
it would be so cool to play on the same major league team.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times in the NHL, I know, and I always just think that's so cool. In fact, I think there's 2 brothers that are on the Kraken right now.
No.
The
I
Fleury
agree that
brothers.
it
Yeah.
would be super cool, but there's so much money on the line.
Did you
That's
just
my
get a
ring-
text?
Sorry, no, that's my Ring doorbell
Oh.
telling me there's motion in the driveway.
Oh, no.
There's so much money involved, and especially for Corey Seager, that he's about to get like big time paid.
Yeah.
and it's his first real big payday.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to imagine that they would let playing together get in the way of just getting the absolute most money possible.
Yeah, but it would be so cool.
It would be so cool.
Also, something I learned with doing this was Kyle's middle name. You know Kyle's Seager's middle name?
Daniel,
No.
That would have been bad.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh.
how do you spell it?
Duerr. Durr.
Kyle Durr Seager.
Kyle Durr Seager. Anyway,
pretty
so
good.
the most intriguing players to me on this list, like I said, are shortstops. You got Javi Baez, who's 28. You got Carlos Correa, who's 27. Chris Bryant's kind of interesting at 29. Trevor Story at 28. I don't want Chris Taylor or Brad Miller because no. And
Well, Chris
yeah.
Taylor, I know he hit that game winner in the wild card.
But he's been struggling.
Previous to that, he had. I heard on the radio that he had. I think it was the last month of the season. He had the lowest batting average of any qualifying player in all of the majors.
Wow.
At like 101 or something.
Well, you know what's crazy is he still finished hitting 254.
So he must have had a
been
really good
good
start.
before that. Yeah. Anyway, now I bring up those shortstops not because I want J.P. Crawford to not be the shortstop. I would want whoever comes in to be like, "Oh, J.P. Crawford, you're the Gold Glove winning shortstop. I'll play third base." And Carlos Correa would be the perfect situation for that because he's basically built like a third baseman anyway. He's going to have to make that shift at some point to third base.
Can you explain that to a non-baseball fan?
So to a non-baseball fan, your shortstops are usually very quick and fast and more often than not built smaller because smaller guys can keep their range for longer. So Alex
Okay.
Rodriguez was huge. He ended up moving to third base. It's happened a few different times throughout the years.
Okay,
Bigger
so by-
shortstops eventually moved to third base.
So by built like a third baseman, you just mean he's big frame.
He's a big dude. Yeah.
Cal
Okay.
Ripken
It's-
Jr. did it at the
okay.
end of his career.
Yeah.
Too.
And you see it happen every now and then.
So-
So that would be my push is, hey, these third basemen don't really line up quite as well because you wouldn't want an old guy who you have to pay for a long time. It's not so much how much money you have to pay these guys. It's the fact that they're going to want like a 7-year contract. And you don't want to give a 31-year-old a 7-year contract.
I wish there was just like a really productive third baseman that had a really good year, like best year of his career, productivity wise, that you could just pay 1 year $20 million.
I know, wouldn't that be nice?
If only that existed out there for the Mariners, but alas, they have no option.
I know, just no option.
Yeah.
Oh, well worded, sir.
It's the year to make the push. And historically the Mariners have, they've gone out when they feel like they're ready and go get a couple of big free agents. And not just once, but they've done it throughout the course of the last 20 years. They've done it a couple times. They did it with Sexton and Beltre. They did it with Cano.
I was so excited about Sexton.
Yeah, so they have gone out and spent the big money. And so if you take your payroll from the $30 million range up to the $90 million range, you can get 2 top-notch guys.
Yeah.
So you probably want an infielder who's a really good bat.
Yep.
And you want an ace pitcher.
Yep.
So are the Mariners likely to go out and try to do that? Or, because this was a conversation I was hearing this week, and actually specifically Brock Heward, who I don't trust what he says about baseball, but he's going, I don't know. Look at what the Rays are doing. Maybe the Mariners should try to play more like the Rays.
No. Do you realize how perfect you have to do it like the Rays? Like, you have... How they've done it multiple years is beyond me, because they must just... They got to have some insider trading or something. Like, how in the world do they spend that little money and constantly ship off their good players and be good? Like, it's so impressive.
I'm not doubting you, because it actually sounds reasonable. Do we have examples of organizations that have tried to do it like the Rays and failed, or are they the only people doing that?
Every team that has a super low payroll is trying to do what the Rays are doing. Like, all of the low market teams, because there's tons of teams at the bottom of baseball, and this is one thing
Kansas City probably tries to do that.
Yeah,
and they're good every now and then,
Miami,
but not anything like
Miami's
the Rays.
trying to do something really similar.
Yeah.
I think I've heard this conversation about how baseball doesn't have a salary cap; it's an uncapped league, and it's not really true. Like, when they have a luxury tax, just like the NBA does, so there's no hard cap, but there's a certain threshold that when you go over it, you have to pay a buttload in extra money.
Yeah.
So
basically it hurts the teams who they're actually conscious of how much they spend. But if you're the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, they don't care how much they have to spend in luxury tax.
Right.
Because they're making that much money that they're like,
if it leads to winning.
Yeah, who cares?
But some of these lower teams, that was a huge win for them to have no cap, because they got the luxury tax, which is basically a soft cap, but now there's no minimum. Mm-hmm. They can spend as little money as they want. Yep. And they're just trying to, balance out their sheets and try to win nickeling and diming just like the Rays did. Because the thing about the Rays is, every time I hear an analyst talk about them, it's about their depth. Mm-hmm. It's how they have all these guys. Like, they have every single person on their 25-man roster has a role. You don't have anybody on the team who isn't utilized, and all of them fill their role really well.
And yet they trade with the Mariners constantly.
Yeah.
What does that also tell you?
They're so...
Wait a second.
that
doesn't
cheap.
sound good at all.
They don't even... We talked about this before with Kostilko, the Russian.
Yeah.
They don't even let their players get to arbitration.
Yep.
They're like, not only are we not going to sign you to the big deal that you probably deserve, we're not even going to let you get to the point where an arbitrator gets to decide that you make more money than your rookie deal.
It's brutal.
It's so nuts.
It's so cheap.
How are they winning? I don't know.
And how do they keep getting the Mariners to trade for their guys?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe Castillo will be better next year.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I thought we were going to talk for 5 minutes about the Mariners, and that turned into a great discussion. Yes, I feel like. I'm not sure how many people are still watching, but...
Francis, are you still there? Text Andrew if you're still there.
He wants to know if Daniel's backdrop is an indication that he's being held hostage and or being forced to do this against his will.
Because it looks like jail.
But also our internet died entirely there for a bit.
No.
So he might be back now.
Our internet died.
Yeah.
I apologize to our live viewers. We had some technical
All
difficulties.
6 of them.
We had 6?
6 viewers.
That's got to be a record.
Dang, yeah, it's up there. All right, so let's talk about the Seahawks, Justin. Uh-oh.
So,
do we want to talk about the game
No,
or
I
just
don't
how
think-
terrified we are?
I think there's no point in trying to recap and analyze and break down that game.
But you didn't like my rant, my mad.
there is a
rantings
little
of
point.
Okay, actually,
I'm concerned by
my notes that I put in all of my hard work into.
Wait, that's a lot of notes. Okay, so
I typed them all out to you guys.
this
in the message.
really is the difference between us, though.
Yeah.
Because you like to be really analytical and be box score guy, and you want to share and make sure everybody knows every single thing that they need to know about the game and why it went the way it did.
Which is hilarious because I'm probably the least suited of the three of us to be analytical about things.
Because you're emotional?
Yeah.
I'm just
I
just feel
Andrew
the
just seems
analytics.
like Andrew just projects himself as an intellectual.
He's just projecting.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Fake it till you make it.
I mean, okay, 3 bullet points,
Okay.
Daniel. 3 bullet points on the game.
Oh.
There's so many notes to choose.
Daniel.
Okay, can I do
for our
Categories.
audio
What
only-
categories of notes do you have? Those are the
4?
bullet
Okay,
points.
all right. I'm gonna do 4 bullet points because I have 4
Okay.
pages.
Okay.
All right. Bullet point number 1: Metcalf beat Ramsey.
Yeah.
That one time?
No, I felt like he beat Ramsey for the game.
Okay.
That's how I felt. I
Attaboy,
felt like he
DK.
won that matchup.
Good job, DK.
And he didn't let him get into his head, and that was part of it.
That
Like,
blue
it was-
hair.
Was that another bullet point?
That-
or
No, that was
that
that
blue
was
part
hair
of the
is
same
working.
bullet point.
That
Okay,
was part
got
of it.
There.
The next one is Adams is just miserable at coverage.
How did he misjudge that ball?
That
so
one
badly?
was
He's a linebacker, guys. He's a strong
Dude,
safety linebacker.
the ball went up in the air and he turned his back on it and ran like a center fielder who thought it was going to be a home run or to the wall. And then he turned back around and it was 5 yards short of where he was.
Yeah,
It was so far away from where he thought it was going that Deshaun Jackson not only caught it, but Jamal Adams wasn't close enough to even touch him afterwards.
It was also honestly, that was excessively bad because that wasn't just that he misread the ball, which he misread the ball, but his job wasn't to go where the ball was going. His job was to cover the receiver. So you misread the ball.
I will
but
disagree with you
still
on that
need to
one.
cover the receiver.
That's why people are when the ball goes up, you go to where the ball goes, Andrew. You don't cover some receiver
if
who's
the
not
ball's-
going where the ball is. That's the problem with DBs today. They cover the receiver, and then the ball is catchable, and they don't get it.
If you're
cover
receiver
the ball.
playing DB, sure. If you're a linebacker playing DB,
Okay.
you're wrong.
Okay.
You cover that receiver and make sure he doesn't catch a ball.
But he tried to do that with Higbee, and he couldn't keep up with the receiver, and that receiver was a tight end who technically a linebacker should be able to cover. Anyway, that was the worst playing of a ball going up in the air I think I've ever seen in the NFL. And
It was
I've
bad.
never said this before and actually meant it. I literally could have done better on that play than he did. Literally.
Yeah, but they just would have ran right at you. They wouldn't have passed.
Well, no, I'm saying once the ball went up.
I know.
Once the
I
ball
know.
went up. All right, so that was bullet point number 2. Bullet point number 3 is 2 punts, double the fun. Had anybody seen that before?
No.
That was awesome.
You know
was
what's funny is
awesome.
I feel like Dixon probably should have known that rule, but I didn't know it.
But even if he did, even if it was going to be a penalty, like the broadcasters and everybody's like, oh, that was a penalty. He shouldn't have done that. No, he absolutely should have done it because the alternative was him getting tackled. Like it was a penalty, which is 5 yards repunt or 10 yards or 10 yards at the end of the play. Both of those things are better than him getting tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Agreed with that.
So absolutely you punt the ball away again.
Running for a touchdown would have been also acceptable.
Yeah, true. So that's number 3. And the last one is I like it when my quarterback is decisive.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
And I don't know if Geno Smith is going to be good or serviceable or terrible or whatever, but I loved that he came in the game, he took the snap, he hit the back foot, and he threw the ball.
He even threw it to his tight end.
Yeah. And I know that Russell Wilson, for everything we love about him, part of it is the fact that he can scramble around and make something out of nothing. But I think what I would want to shift in his brain is you do that when your offensive line is so bad that the play is dead to rights from the start. You don't hold on to the ball until the play is dead to rights and then do that. It's a minor shift. Like, be amazing when you need to. Don't make it so you have to be amazing. Does that make sense?
Is Geno Smith huge?
I don't know. He's like 6'3",
Or
right?
does it feel like he's huge because he's coming in after Russ?
Yes, I think that's right.
I thought
Anyway,
he looked like a monster.
those are my bullet points from the game.
Well, that last bullet point segues perfectly into what I think is a much more interesting topic than anything that happened in the game.
okay.
Since we now know
Yes.
that Russ is going to be out for an extended period of time.
Is that confirmed?
I mean, basically.
We know he had surgery. I am still holding out like a 2%
Okay, so
part
so
of
let's,
optimism
let's-
that Russ ends up like well, yeah, no, it's not healed, but I've got the splint on it and I'm throwing it with my left hand now, so or
Like
something ridiculous.
Like he did when he had like a mangled knee and still
Yeah,
never missed
let's
a
go
game.
a
through
torn MCL
what some of the
and a high
reports
ankle
were.
sprain, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Initial report was Seahawks are bracing for Russ to be out for at least a month. Second report I saw was most likely 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
The third thing I saw was a quote from the doctor that said, "We're confident he'll play again this year."
Yeah,
And I was
I
like,
saw that too.
"What? This year? What?"
No.
So I mean, we're 5 weeks in to the season. There's 17 games in the regular season. So are they saying, "Yeah, we'll get him back by week 17"? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he came back in less than a month, it would be shocking.
Also, do you guys think, because do you think Russell Wilson 3 years ago just plays through this? But Russell Wilson this close to the end of his contract and has had discussions about wanting to leave now goes, yeah, all right, I'm hurt.
I don't know, but I think the way Pete...
I'm a little doubtful,
the way
considering
Pete-
that he had surgery on it, and for the... It sounds like there was
I mean,
wasn't just the
I think the
torn
way
tendon.
Pete explained it was probably the thing that tells us that's not it, because what he said was it wasn't about pain. It wasn't about Russ playing through it. He couldn't grip the ball.
Yeah.
And he was over there like trying to grip tennis balls and do all kinds of stuff to try to get where he could grip the ball.
Yeah.
And I heard, I want to say Chris Sims talking about this on a podcast yesterday, saying it's his middle finger. Your middle finger and your index finger are the ones that do all the work for pushing the ball off your hand.
Okay.
So if you can't grip the ball and your middle finger is the issue, you will not be able to throw.
That makes sense. Because
So-
I was like, if it's affecting him, like his ability, then
Yeah.
yes, I get that. But it didn't, from people I've talked to, it's not the most painful of things.
He didn't look like he was.
He
in
didn't look
pain.
like he was in pain at all.
It
right?
looked like he was like, "Hey, I something's wrong with my finger."
finger's not working. Yeah.
He looked like a robot who was asking for a replacement part. Guys, I need a new joint. I need a new nuts and bolts here in my finger, guys.
So, Daniel, you have some
Okay.
experience with this. How long will it take him to learn how to throw with his left hand?
Well, I would say Russell Wilson's a much better athlete than us, so probably he could do it in the summer. My brother and I couldn't.
Not
though.
under 6 to 8 weeks?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think you need at least 3 months to figure that out.
Okay, so how about this? Would you rather have, let's say you could just tie the hand behind his back or do something that you knew it wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a left-handed Russell Wilson or Geno Smith be your quarterback?
Option C.
Jake Luton.
No. Option D.
Andrew knew where I was
D.
going.
Option
No.
D. Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, that's what Andrew wants.
You know what? So I started
Justin actually
started-
tweeted that before I had thought of it.
saying it. What
I
is
got a text from my wife. Yes. Have you gotten a text from your wife yet?
Yes. 6 minutes ago.
Dang it!
Who doesn't respond to
Oh, I got
texts
one
in
from
that
my mom
family?
8 minutes ago, too. Everyone has responded to me.
Okay. Well, now that that's settled.
Okay. Oh, I also got a text from Steve Bovey that said you guys had to bring up Chris Taylor. He's a Cardinals fan.
Ooh, yeah. Sorry about that, Steve.
Yeah, so the Minshew thing, I got a little pushback from people on this. It feels extremely logical to me. He just got acquired by a team for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
You would not have to give up very much to get him.
No.
And for the Geno Smith looked pretty good crowd, I am not remotely confident that if you want to compete this year, which I think the Seahawks still want to and think that they can, they think that they can. They did
gonna
turn it around defensively last year around midseason.
Are they going
But-
to then do that same, like, just do the same thing you were doing last season?
Geno
for Pete's
Smith
sake?
in his career has a sub 60% completion percentage, 30 touchdowns, 37 interceptions.
Yeah.
I'm not remotely confident that he is going to become a reliable quarterback at age 30. So if you have a thought that you'd like to be confident this year, you need to do something else. Trading for Minshew solves the immediate problem. You wouldn't have to give up that much, very likely. Like, up it. Give him a 4th round pick. Who the heck cares? You
Do they have
competent
any picks at
quarterback.
all next year?
Well, you don't. That's the other thing that's funny, because if they do roll with Geno, the Jets have the Seahawks' 1st round pick next
Oh my
year. So
gosh.
how ironic would it be
Geno
that it
could
would be
pay
in
them
Geno
back.
Smith's hands whether or not the Jets get a high pick next year?
That'd be
but
hilarious.
it's just trading for not a guy like Minshew specifically. Trading for him to bring him in for the temporary, and then you can get him on your team to where my other big concern, which is that Russ said multiple times, I'm sick of getting hit so much. We need to be better up front. And why did he injure his finger? Because he had a defensive
Because he
player.
tried to punch.
Yeah,
He was throwing a ball
yeah, but
with a defensive player right in front of him.
it
and
was
he hit
Aaron
his
Donald.
I'm
like,
not.
there's not an offensive line in the universe that's
I'm-
going to keep him off you for a whole game.
And that's true, but I'm not playing the blame game. I'm trying to see
Right.
to figure out if Russ is going to play the blame game. And if he said, I want to be protected better, this is an important thing to me, he then injured himself on a defensive player who was in the backfield when there shouldn't be a defensive player in the
Yeah.
backfield. So is this Russ going, okay, well, trade me next year?
Yeah.
Like, we were already
So-
kind of on the edge of that.
So you had the stats for Geno Smith. What were those again? 60%.
It was
completion
it was like a 57 or 58% completion
Okay.
percentage, 30 touchdowns, 37 interceptions.
Most successful quarterback from the 2013 draft.
So Gardner Minshew in 2 seasons was at 62% completion percentage, 37 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions.
And he had one of the greatest rookie seasons ever.
And before
Which everyone likes to conveniently forget when they talk about, especially looking at the rookie quarterbacks this season and how badly most of them are struggling. He got totally overshadowed by the fact that a couple years previous, there were guys that jumped in and were great right away.
Yep.
also, for people that are like, well, yeah, he was playing on Jacksonville. Geno Smith was playing on the Jets.
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah.
That would be my only argument against everything you just said, Justin. Is like playing devil's advocate. Poor dude was playing for the Jets. Not only did their offensive line suck so bad that he was probably running for his life the whole time, but Gardner Minshew had some studs at receiver he was throwing to, and who did Geno Smith have to throw to?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember anybody. Like,
Let's
and
find
that's not saying like I can't remember that long ago. Like, I can't remember the last time the Jets had good receivers.
Didn't one of them punch him?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when let's put it this way: when Jermaine Kearse got traded to the Jets, he was like instantly the best receiver they've had in the last like 20 years. And
Husky legend, Jermaine Kearse.
Like, they haven't had very many good people to
How
throw
long ago
to.
did Keyshawn Johnson play?
Longer than 20 years
How long
ago.
ago did Wayne Corbett play?
Longer than 20
Am
years.
I going into the 90s?
It's not longer than 20 years because I remember Wayne Corbett. So that was probably early 2000s. So maybe I pushed it by about maybe 15 years. Maybe that's where I should go with 15 years.
Didn't they have Eric Decker too? I think he was pretty good there.
He was all right. But is he better than Jermaine Kearse?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Eric Decker.
Jermaine Kearse is a bum. He did make that sick catch.
That
though.
was such
That was
a
a
sick
sick
catch.
catch.
All right. Anyway, so
I was trying to look up
That was
Geno
all that-
Smith's stats and the Jets roster, but I'm just getting this. Full circle.
Little
Loading,
circle.
loading,
I got to say,
loading.
that was purely devil's advocate. Do I think Geno Smith is the guy to lead them if they want to be competitive? No. Do I think the Seahawks are going to be competitive this year after seeing what their defense has done? And
Well, there's no point in tanking.
That's
You don't have
true.
your first round pick.
That's a good point. Wait,
The Jets have next year's first round pick.
how many first round picks did we trade for
Two.
Jamal Adams?
2!
Oh, wow.
2 of them.
To watch him outrun a ball because he misjudged it so badly, and there were 3 Seahawks around.
If
and
they
none of them
go-
could make a
if
pass.
they-
Counterpoint to that, though. why is he covering
Exactly,
guys and not rushing the passer when Pete Carroll is on the record multiple weeks in a row saying that the primary problem with the defense is that they're not getting to the quarterback. And that's why, and I think he's right here. There's a lot of passes being completed behind the linebackers when there's deep routes that are already clearing out the defensive backs. That's not on the linebackers necessarily. They're supposed to be trying to cover those lanes, but you have to get to the quarterback and force him to make a hurried throw.
Yes. I actually said this on the high school broadcast I was covering last night. I was like, because I saw one of Monty's rover backers, right? So that's kind of like their fifth linebacker spot is the rover.
There's a blood and a rover. They're the weak side, strong side. Like,
and I was like, that's what Jamal Adams needs to be doing. He needs to be playing the Caden Lovell position, where he's like sometimes dropping into the flats, but also up there to make hits and maybe doing some blitzing.
The hard part about the rover spot is when you go up against an offense that spreads out and multiple routes run, they basically become a corner, a cover corner.
Okay, so never mind. He just needs to become a defensive end. Also, DK Metcalf should play defensive end in the fourth quarter. That would be the dopest thing also. Go with your best 11 guys. You can't tell me DK is not better than somebody on defense right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing I would say to that, though, Andrew, is they showed some replays where Bobby Wagner was like, Cooper Kupp was coming through his zone, and he just turned and ran with him, and then Robert Woods just went right into that vacated spot. And he did that like 8 times in that game. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. You're playing a zone. You can't just turn and run with the first guy who runs through your zone. You can't do that.
Yeah, like guys, I'm not saying that it's not on it, but anyways, but and also
both. It's a mixture of both.
Also Pete Carroll has been saying that the pass rush is struggling, and then they're not using the best pass rushing DB of all time to blitz.
Exactly.
And Ryan Neal's not even on the field. I think he had 7 or 8 plays.
Daniel just threw his papers in the air dramatically. Also, I just looked at the show sheet, and under Seahawks, it says Russ injured, trash heap. What was trash heap a reference
That's what we're
to?
talking about.
The Seahawks.
Like they just are a trash heap? Okay. I thought there might have been like a more nuanced point there. No, it's just trash heap.
I thought about putting trash
thought it
heaps
covered it.
and making a connection to Jake Heaps and Russell Wilson.
That's rude.
But
that's rude.
Then I just decided no. So I don't know. You guys got any more on the Seahawks? I mean, we all want them to get Gardner Minshew. I don't think that's going to happen.
I was really frustrated by the defensive scheme.
Yeah.
By which I don't mean whether they're playing zone or man, but the fact that that we saw Adams.
Yes, you're right.
They're asking Adams to play coverage so much that we saw him fail miserably at it multiple times.
Yep.
And they're Ryan Neal, who played awesome the week before, wasn't on the field.
Yep.
And that was really frustrating to me.
Yep. Because they used high draft capital on Amadi and Blair, Andrew. Those are the guys that have to play. It's the ye old scholarship player gets all the preference at the college football program. Ryan Neal was an undrafted free agent that they just kind of scooped up. You really think they're going to put time and effort into him playing a lot, even though he's proved it? Of course not. You spent a second-round draft pick on Marquise Blair.
Years of Pete Carroll's
those weren't his guys.
Suggest differently.
Those weren't his guys that
was
cutting. He was cutting other people's problems.
They churned a lot though. They brought a lot of guys in and then cut them.
Yeah, but not his high draft picks.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Justin, what are you looking at? You started laughing. You looked at your phone.
So I saw something that was funny and then something that made me sad. Okay, so I completely tuned you guys out because I got response texts from my wife.
Oh yeah, I should read mine too.
She said, I said, "Hey boo, what's crack-a-lackin'?" Her first response was, "Aren't you supposed to be recording?" And then another one a few minutes later that says, "When did you send that?" I'll have to explain it later. And then the thing that made me sad.
Oh, before the sadness, my wife responded with, "Hey, Smooky Roo, I'm amazing, so things are going well." The confidence there.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So, Florida State football and how it's become just a total joke.
Yes.
And they're horrible.
No. Justin, no.
Well, with 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Tar Heels currently are losing to Florida State 35-23. Oh. They did. Carolina did just score a touchdown.
Uh-oh.
So I think they're about to kick an extra point, and it'll be 35-24.
Oh.
With 2:47 left, it's a 2-score game.
Well, now I just got sad.
Yeah.
Because Oregon State and Wazoo are tied in the fourth quarter.
It's the Coug Bevoff.
Who is better at losing this game, Andrew?
Who wants to lose the most? That's what we're here to decide.
Yes.
If it's the Beaver and Cougar, can we call it a boog-off?
Boogoff.
It's a boog-off. Just combine the words together.
Hopefully Max Borghi can end the Boogoff.
Nothing is going well in football right now. No. My fantasy teams are garbage. My college team sucks. Russell Wilson's finger is busted, and Montesano lost yesterday.
I was going to say, your high school team lost 2 games in a row. Wow.
Things just keep getting better.
They're just going up.
I've got a good feeling about WSU tonight.
On that, we will segue into a commercial break because then we're going to talk about high school after that.
I don't want to.
You don't want to.
Click.
I'm sorry.
Click.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and Oli Penn Real Estate. Probably should have mentioned them earlier, but it's been kind of a interesting show so far. Justin, we're getting ready to do the Athlete of the Week. And the last few weeks, you've done TikTok videos of that Athlete of the Week. Just not going to do it.
I'm busy.
Just not going to do it this week.
I'm busy sulking.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it's an Elma Eagle, does it?
It doesn't not have anything to do with that.
Don't stop letting people not help.
Yeah.
All right. So our Oli Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week is Elma's Conan Baxter.
Congratulations.
Now, Conan, we've had him as our
Elma.
we've had him as our Athlete of the Week before, and he outdid himself on this one, Justin. He set a school record with 308 rushing yards as they took on, who did they beat? Seton Catholic, I believe. No, not, is it Seton?
Yeah.
Seton Catholic. 308 rushing yards. So that's
a lot of rushing yards.
That is a ton. School record.
They scored 69 points.
They scored
nice.
Scored. So he did that on 18 carries.
Shut up. No, he did not.
Yeah.
Daniel,
That's not real. That's a
Can
typo. That's supposed to say 28.
Can somebody do the math on what his yards per carry is?
I can do it real quick.
18 carries for 308 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Is that like 18 yards a carry?
And
that is
6
17.111 forever yards per carry.
Wow.
But what was
6
when Nolan
touchdowns.
When Nolan set the Hoquiam record
Against
Monty?
Yeah.
What was
354?
Something like that.
on how many carries?
Oh, way more than 18.
way more carries.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was
I don't think so. I think
When we're
he
talking
scored
about
a
that many
touchdown
yards.
every time he touched the ball that game.
when we're talking about that many yards. That's the one other time that, and I was at that game.
Yeah.
And
I think it was way more
crazy.
carries. I'm not positive. If anybody
That's
watching
almost
right now has
17 yards a carry.
that's ridiculous.
wow.
And 6 touchdowns. And you know what's crazy? He
That
scored
he had
8
308 carries
Yeah.
and 308 yards and 6 touchdowns?
Well, he also had 8 touchdowns on the day.
What?
He had an interception return for a touchdown too.
Wait,
Nice.
but 6
Wow.
6 plus 1 is 7.
So he not only
Did I say 8?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. That's bad math.
I don't know a lot about math. I'm not great at it, but I know 6 plus 1 is 7.
So not only did he set the school rushing record,
Yeah.
but he did it in a game that he got a pick six.
Defensive touchdown.
I think the big thing is
That's
that the numbers
awesome.
of what he did are so high that number one, I don't believe them, and number two, it made Daniel forget how to do basic math.
So anytime you have a running back doing this well, you should mention their offensive line. And thankfully, the Daily World did. He was running behind Nathan Comer, Donovan Bishop, Zach Miller, Tanner Thompson, and Austin Salazar. And they just kept lifting. That's way more than 5 offensive linemen. One of those guys is a tight end. Tucker Potts also is good, and Brock
Are you
Mainers.
sure that says Tuckerge?
I know, Tuckerge Potts. Anyway.
As you know, I read typos.
Yeah, the previous single game record was 263 yards set by Eagle great Todd Bosler, who went on, I believe it was that Bosler, went on to be the punter for the Cougars. So big name that he took the record away from there. He ran for 3 touchdowns in each half, scoring on runs of 47 and 28 in the first half, and on carries of 53, 23, and 18 yards in the second half. His 6 rushing touchdowns in the game are one off the all-time school record of 7.
I could be wrong, but didn't you only just list 5 touchdowns?
I did. They didn't list. That's what it was. I was looking at the numerals. There was a 9-yard touchdown run in there too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so now you've given him a touchdown, and then you took
take
one
it
away.
Yep, I'm cruel.
But he did have 7, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because then it says Baxter also scored on an interception return to make it 54-14 in the third quarter. So yeah, just ridiculous. 7 touchdowns, no matter how many times I try and miscount it. 6 of those are rushing, 1 interception return for a touchdown, and a school record 308 yards. Conan Baxter, oh my goodness, you are our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Claire Dog on YouTube wants to know the Bobcats won. Does that make Justin feel any better?
Yeah.
Quick response.
I was
there.
wrong. I didn't think it would.
All right, and so you know what? We have a bunch of other things to get through in our high school football recap. So Andrew, you can fire that up. But suffice to say, there's some other kids that definitely could have been Athlete of the Week this week had Conan Baxter not just gone into ridiculous video game created player mode. We'll start with those Aberdeen Bobcats as they remained atop the 2A Evergreen League standings. Yeah, they did. With a 28-12 victory over Centralia on Friday in Centralia. The Bobcats were led by junior running back Jeremy Sawyer, who carried the ball 23 times for 154 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Hoquiam also returned to the field for the first time in nearly a month, falling 50-6 to Tenino
Not nice.
on Friday in Tenino. I think Tenino is ranked 7th in the state right now. They're way up there. They're really good this year.
They are.
And Tenino will be hosting Montesano next week, so that should be a really interesting game as well. Raymond South Bend's comeback attempt fell short in a 36-27 loss to Morton White Pass on Friday at Morton High School, and Montesano fell to Eatonville 35-18 on Friday at Jack Roddle Field in Monty.
And one of the performances in that game that I want to highlight as another potential Athlete of the Week, if it wasn't for Conan Baxter, Caden Lovell, 14 catches for 133 yards.
And
That's
some
a
really
game.
phenomenal catches.
A bunch of diving
Digging
catches.
them off the ground.
At one point, he had 3 diving catches in a row.
Yeah, yep.
It was ridiculous.
And the ones where you have to come back towards the ball and pick it off the ground. Really, really good.
Yes.
Those are hard.
I was going to mention something else. This next week for high school football is got a bunch of great matchups. So our broadcast is going to Aberdeen at WF West. So that should be a really good game. You got Montesano going to Tenino, which should be a really good game. And I believe Elma is taking on Eatonville, which should also be a really good game. All very important games in those leagues as well. In volleyball, Hoquiam took down Tenino in a straight set victory, 3-0. Returning from a long hiatus to take down Tenino at Hoquiam Square Garden on Thursday. Elma kept pace with the league leaders after picking up a 3-1 victory over Eatonville on Thursday in Elma. Elma got 13 kills from Brooklyn Swartz.
In girls prep soccer, Aberdeen played to a tie in regulation with Centralia and then won on penalty kicks 3-1. Montesano took down Kingsway Christian 7-2, and we had hat tricks for Montesano by both Michaela Stanfield and Jaden Morrison for the Bulldogs. 2 hat tricks in one game. Crazy.
That's ridiculous. Those are 2 other kids who could have been Athlete of the Week if it wasn't for, again, Conan Baxter going God mode on Seton Catholic. Yes. Elma took down Eatonville in girls soccer as well, 2-1. They moved into second place on its own with the victory over Eatonville on Thursday in Elma. Prep cross country. Aberdeen took the top spots at a home meet as the Bobcats Julian Campos and Aaliyah Castro won their respective races at a cross-country meet on Wednesday at Borst Park in Aberdeen. And then rounding out the high school prep talk, Aberdeen's girls swimming beat Timberline. And apparently this is a thing, Centralia, Rochester, and WF West combo team. 3 2A schools combining to make a swimming team to take on Aberdeen, and Aberdeen took them down anyway in girls prep swimming.
Nice.
That's going to do it for our Hoquiam Roundup, or our, high school Roundup. Whoops.
Did you do that for the people who say, do you ever cover anything besides Monty? You call it the Hoquiam Roundup.
The Hoquiam
so we're
Roundup,
covering
yeah.
something besides Monty.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I do.
So
Yep.
I'm realizing that that we have poll results as a thing that we're gonna do.
I might have forgotten to take that out of the show sheet.
Well,
Daniel didn't edit parts of the show sheet.
I know that we're gonna talk about the Monty game first because we should at least talk about it a little bit since you and I were both
Since
there.
we were both there, that makes sense.
We don't have to dwell on it forever, but
Can't be very interesting.
I didn't post any polls this week, but I did make a bunch of notes in my phone about polls that I was going to post.
Okay.
So we could do that. We could just read them.
Sounds good. People can vote live here on our YouTube stream. All 6. How many viewers do we have? 6?
We currently have 5 viewers.
Oh, well, now we're losing. we're
You
losing
made someone
ground.
mad.
You know what's sad about that is we have sent the link to both of our family chats Andrew and I have, and there's at least like 14 people on those chats combined. Yeesh.
Yeah.
I'm sure they just want to keep it fresh for Monday morning.
Okay, yeah. So what do you think?
Well, I think first of all, Eatonville's very good. We already knew.
No!
What? Did the Beavers lose? Daniel, did the Beavers lose?
No, they haven't lost, but Washington State is up 31-24 with 5:25 left.
Who has the ball?
Well, this says Washington State, but no, they just kicked off. So Oregon State now has the ball. You got to be kidding me.
These 2 weeks, this past Friday and this coming Friday, are going to tell us everything we need to know about the Evergreen 1A League.
Yes.
Which is,
I also felt like we learned a bunch this week.
I believe, is the most competitive Evergreen 1A League we've had in a really long time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because Eatonville comes in, they've been really good, but they haven't been in our league. So now they're really good in our league. Tenino,
like that.
Tenino is better than I can. I mean, there have been competitive Tenino teams on occasion since I've been covering high school sports, but not very many. And they've never been this good.
No. They've been like, maybe we'll get into the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Monty, obviously on a 2-game losing streak, but playing competitively against really good teams, and I still think that they're a competitive team. I'm not trying to go out and say that they're like a state-level competitive team, but they're good.
Yeah.
And then
Especially
Elma,
when they have all their players.
exactly. Elma, on top of that, has really put a whooping on a couple of teams that they've played.
Yeah.
They've played so few games that it's harder to tell with them.
Yep.
But this coming week, when they played Tenino, Tenino played within 2 points of Eatonville.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Monty's playing Tenino.
Yeah. Elma's playing Eatonville.
Elma's playing Eatonville. Tenino played within 2 points of Eatonville. So we know that those 2 teams are both good and close to each other. This game between Monty and Eatonville, 35-18 was the final, but there were 2 Bulldog drives. They actually moved the ball. Monty moved the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
They just couldn't punch it in. There were 2 Bulldog drives that ended with a turnover on downs on the 5-yard line.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Both in the first half.
Both
too.
in the first
That's
half.
rough.
So the game looks totally different if they're able to punch those 2 in. Like
Even one of those.
yeah, the game looks totally different. So there's 4 teams in the Evergreen 1A League that are all really good.
Yeah.
Or at least good. Like, it's been I can't remember. Most of your league is good. It's the most compelling, interesting matchups we've seen in the Evergreen 1A League as long as I can remember.
Yep.
So we learned a lot this past Friday. We're going to learn more next Friday. I think one thing for Montesano.
One of those teams is not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing for Montesano is there was a point where, and I was wondering in the first half why Eatonville didn't abandon the pass faster.
Yeah.
Because they did get 2 long bombs that led to a touchdown really early. I think it was their second drive. But when Eatonville ran their power running game, the Bulldogs never really stopped it. If an Eatonville drive stalled out, it was because of inconsistent passing or penalties or some kind of a miscue, and it wasn't very often.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. I think Monty having no Kenny Coonrad out there in this game made a huge difference. And I'm not saying it's the difference. I'm not going to go say, oh, if Kenny had played, the Bulldogs would have won. But the game would have looked different because Eatonville would not have been able to pound the ball down their throats. Because what was happening on the run plays...
Also, those 1-yard 4th downs would have been a little bit easier with your best offensive lineman.
Exactly. But what was happening with Eatonville is that they were dominating the line of scrimmage so that even when a Monty defender was making contact with a runner around the line of scrimmage, he already had so much momentum running downhill, and their running backs were good.
Yeah.
And strong.
A lot of them, too.
Yeah. So then they're able to...
Especially that bowling ball kid
Yeah.
came in at the end.
Exactly.
5'7", 230.
So even when you get a hand on him around the line of scrimmage, it's 5 yards. Like that, your best hope is to stop a play that's going 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah.
So it's different if Kenny's there. The other thing was Jack Holmstrom, who provides a ton of explosiveness to your offense. He had come in with an ankle injury, and he tried to go out there and play, and it just didn't work. He got out for a couple plays, and then he had to come out. And that hurt on the offensive side, just one less big explosive weapon to help you make plays down the field.
Yep.
So Eatonville's good, and I'm not going to sit here and say Monty wins that game if they're at full strength, but it's a different game if they're at full strength.
Yep.
So I still think, going into these next couple of games, it's still wide open to me. I think it's very realistic to say that these 4 teams are all on the same level.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And you're right. We haven't seen that for a long time. I think the closest we came is when Elma would kind of have a better season, and then Forks would win a couple games in Forks, and they'd be like, oh, we're Forks, and then they'd go get destroyed when they actually went to somebody's, away from the whole 10-point lead they start with up in Forks. But we haven't really seen a true time where there's 4 teams that all deserve to be in the playoffs.
There's periods of time where Monty and Hoquiam were both really good at the same time, but it was just the 2 of them.
Yep, exactly.
So,
It was top heavy.
This is going to be crazy, and to see which of these teams is going to come out of this league and which ones are going to be able to make a push in the playoffs. Because I believe, although I don't know what rankings are considered official at this point, and all these rankings have all different stuff. I know the RPI ones are the ones they use for playoff seeding, and so those are probably the official ones. I saw one ranking that had Eatonville 2 to 907, Montesano 8. Going into that, you could that in that ranking you had 3 teams in the top 10 in the state in one league.
Yep. Yeah, and Elma shouldn't be far behind.
Yeah, I really think it's just because they haven't played enough.
Exactly.
And they haven't played quality opponents enough to be able to look at their wins and say that means something.
No, Elma still has, get this, Elma still has Tenino, Monty, and Eatonville on their schedule.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right.
I've got a couple cool local sports tidbits from the live chat. Claire Dog points out that Kyle Basler was a Coug punter.
Okay, so Kyle was, not Todd.
Yeah.
Sorry. Todd had the record that Baxter broke. Kyle
was a Coug punter and then undrafted for the Browns, I believe. Yeah. And Francis points out that Takari Hickle, who is playing for Tenino, is a hard commit to the Beavers.
Yes, he is. He is a D1 commit to Oregon State, and I'm still saying that kid for Kalama should switch commits to Oregon State from USC. Yeah, Napavine, not Kalama. They're both there. That's basically the same place.
Aberdeen, Hoquiam.
I don't even think Kalama and Napavine are close to each other. They're just two small towns that have lots of A's in their name.
You don't know the difference between Napavine and Kalama. You don't know what 6 + 1 is. What's going on with you today?
8, of course. Thank you for those tidbits. And yes, I especially the Bosler one. But also, I guess, Francis, thank you for letting us know that Takari Hickle.
Sorry about your Yankees.
Oh, okay.
He also earlier was asking who leads the all-time series between the Cougs and the Beavs, and then answered his own question that the Cougs lead 55-47-3. Wow. So we've tied 3 times. Also,
that's interesting.
Also, he told me that the Cougs have the higher all-time winning percentage with a 4.97 winning percentage compared to the Beavers' 4.72.
The Beavers in football and the Ducks in football, they both used to call it the toilet bowl.
He also just said, so Daniel is good at math and geography.
Should we do some science? Like, just do all of that?
History, I also messed up which Bosler it was.
We just need a science thing for you to mess up. I think we got it all covered.
I'm on a roll. Okay, that's going to do it for that segment. We have another commercial break.
I'm more ready for this one.
At Ole Pen Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With Ole Pen, it's personal.
I don't know what it is about me that makes it impossible to let these things go.
Uh-oh.
But Andrew very calmly saying, I'm more ready for this one, has the exact same effect as bah! Or whatever noise he makes while he's reaching for the mouse. He was not more ready for that.
I was a lot more ready.
He filibustered by, instead of making a crazy noise like he usually does, saying, I was more ready for that.
Last time it took me like 20 seconds
Yeah,
to find it. I wasn't even on the right page of the book.
That was the thing. He was more ready than his previous attempt, not than he usually is. You're correct. That is usually the amount of time it takes to do a commercial, but the previous one was like click, 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 click. Nah. So I'm sorry. Did you want to read what your ideas for polls?
I think that's what we do in the mailbag. We
Sounds
just
good.
kind of go through it, and also there's some stuff in my notes that I'm like, what is this? Okay, so this is what I do, and I think I've shared this with you guys before. While I'm out, when I'm working, I'll have an idea for something for the show, and I just push the button, and I'm not going to do it because last time I did it, my phone was like, whoa, what do you want to tell me? But I say, hey, Siri, make a note, blah, blah, blah. And it makes a note. And then sometimes, because I'm using voice to text, and I don't even remember what all of this is. Can I say a bad word? Should I not say a bad word?
No, I don't think I would. This is a PG-13 program here.
So here's a note. I'll censor it. Here's a note that my phone says I made. Tell Joey that Greg says he's an a-hole. I have no idea what that's about. That's a note in my phone.
Who's Joey?
I don't know.
Who's Greg?
I'm not sure. I don't have a Greg in my life.
Oh, that's PI.
What?
Sorry, I'm watching the Wazoo Oregon State game, and you can't have a hold of somebody's arm as a DB pushing into him while not looking back at the ball.
Okay.
If you look back at the ball and you have that much contact, fine.
Here's another note that I made.
PI is a fake penalty.
Here's another note that I made with no context and no memory.
Okay.
Candy rankings.
Okay.
Oh,
idea.
That seems obvious that you were thinking about doing a top 5 candy power rankings.
And we just got sacked on 2nd and 18.
Okay, here's one
Francis is also watching the game with you, I think, now. He's commenting on it occasionally.
Here's one of the poll questions I wanted to put up. Are the Mariners the best team in Seattle? I don't know if the Sounders
Seattle
are any good.
Storm are good, aren't they?
I don't know.
The Storm usually are, but
They were in the playoffs. But
but they got bounced early this year, I think.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs.
But are the Huskies better than
No.
the Mariners? Are the Seahawks better than the Mariners?
Not at the moment.
Not right now.
The Mariners had a winning record.
The
Yeah.
Mariners might be the best team in Seattle.
But no, the Sounders are good, right?
The Sounders are good and the Storm are good. I like how Justin's just pretending the Storm isn't a real thing.
You've got to be
I just
kidding
don't
me.
know the
It's
answer to
fourth
it.
and 19.
Okay, here's another one. This is something that came to my mind earlier because I heard someone talking about
The
getting
Kraken
a
are
brain,
about to start being better.
brain freeze. Have you ever gotten a brain freeze from a milkshake? Because I
Yeah.
heard someone talking about a brain freeze from a milkshake. I never have. I see a brain freeze I associate with like an icy or a Slurpee.
Okay.
I don't think a milkshake. I've never felt like it's cold enough to have that effect on me.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought cold because, it's ice still, but it's thick. It's too thick to drink fast enough
That could be it. Yeah.
to get the. Why are you looking at me like that, Andrew?
I was interested in your guys' answers because I was
Oh.
thinking I might have eaten like 5 or 6 milkshakes in my life. I'm not really huge on milkshakes.
When I worked at the
They
lighthouse,
have ice cream in them, and I'm on the record as not liking ice cream.
Okay.
When I worked at the lighthouse, I used to get blackberry
Here's
milkshakes all the
another
time.
here's another poll question that I was going to put up that I didn't. Did the end zone even feel the tip of that ball? And we already addressed I had one that was going to be about whether it was fair that the Dodgers had to play a wild card game. And then the other poll question, because when I listened to last week's show, I feel like I spent too much time talking about Nasir Little in the answer. And it was only like 10 seconds, but I still felt like that was too much time.
Yeah.
So I was going to put up a poll question that says, do you care whether or not Nasir Little plays more minutes for the Portland Trailblazers next season? And I'm willing to bet we would have got 95% no.
Yeah.
That no one cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Except for me and you.
So candy rankings.
Francis says
Cankings.
Francis says I'm Greg. Daniel is Joey. Go Cougs. Also, he says brain freeze is a myth. He's never had one.
So we did the
Well, I mean, that might insinuate.
He's kind of leaving himself open
Yeah.
there.
You're kind of leaving yourself open to needing a brain there, Francis.
There's a medical reason that brain freezes happen.
Also,
No.
he
Get there,
just
get there.
said
You got to get there.
18-yard run.
Dive, no!
Just short. Ha ha ha. Cougs win, Cougs win, Cougs win.
We are now experiencing live with Daniel what it looks like when the Beavers lose a football game.
To the Cougars.
And now everyone gets to experience that live with us. Daniel, we did the texting game, but my other idea for Stump Daniel this week was going to be like a candy blind taste test. And I was going to give you like different candies and see if you could eat them and tell me what candy it was without looking. I was going to blindfold you.
I think I could do that.
I thought you would have really enjoyed that.
That would have been great.
But now the downside is you look really sad and I don't have any candy to make you feel better. All you have is the comfort in the fact that the people who texted you back faster love you more than the people in my life love me.
But not even as much as people who love Andrew.
Well, between the three of
Who
us,
is a
Andrew's by
cougar?
far the most lovable.
Wow. That's you're lying.
Francis decided it for us today. Like that he was watching, he knew what was going on, he made a conscious decision. Andrew's the most lovable.
Francis is worried about your chair. He thinks it might be deflating.
Well, I think that's going to do it for our show today. Before we go, thank you to our sponsors, Oli Penn Real Estate and the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Here is your weekly reminder that Mariano Rivera is the most overrated player in the history of all sports at all levels.
Truth.
So for my co-host, Daniel, that's the problem with DBs today, Hargrove, and me, Justin Domashevitz, and our trusty producer, the best podcast producer in the business, Andrew Gross, you have been listening to The Scrimmage. Daniel's the only one who got a nickname. I almost